Hey, YouTube. Vamos, amigos. It's your boy Duke. I'm back. 2 games in the books. 2 more teams into the quarterfinals as Belgium and Czech Republic advance to the round of 16. Unbelievable results today. We actually went 1-1 on our bets, I think, from yesterday's video. And of course, we're brought to you by EliteFantasy.com. You see a little bit of a different background. Computer crapped out on me. We're trying a different computer today. Hopefully the sound and the video is perfect because we have 2 awesome games to discuss coming up on Monday. Let's talk about, first things first, let's go to our video. 20 likes. Love it. 1 dislike. Okay, I see you, guy. I assume it's a guy. Girls are too nice to just randomly dislike a video on YouTube. If you don't like the guy, just like I don't like the guy that dislike on the video, then you like this video and get back at him. Let's go for 35 likes. We've done it before. I think we're going to do it again. We got a ton to get to. Let's start with just a recap of the games today. Like I mentioned, Czech Republic goes through 2-0. Score's a bit misleading. The game went about how we thought it was going to go. Daniel Malen, who we thought would be better partner for Depay up front, gets in behind one-on-one with the goalkeeper. It was the touch before the touch that was horrible that put him off balance. He touched it with his right foot. It basically went to his left foot. He couldn't get his body around it. Had to take another touch. Tried to go by the keeper, Vasilik. And the rest is history. Away they go down the field. Matthias de Ligt slips. Grabs the ball with his hand. Red card. And the game's completely different. Of course, it was 0-0 at that time. Should have been 1-0 Holland. Now they're down a man and really trying to play catch up. But to be honest, the Czech Republic were on the front foot from minute 1. That the substitutes played extremely well. If you see, 12 total attempts, 8 from open play. You look at the areas where they were coming down. Let's look at the action zone. 31% in the home third. That's how often they were getting down there. A lot through the middle as far as the shots go, but coming in from this left side as well for the Czech Republic. And what I thought was really interesting is if we look at the player positions, this is very indicative of how the game went. We saw a ton of Depay and Malen basically isolated up front. And you see the Czech Republic were really the more progressive side here. Only really 3 players. Dumfries, who was brilliant again. Depay and Malen in the attacking third. And the rest just kind of hanging out back here. And Netherlands, I thought, started their defensive line far too deep. If we come up here to the match center and look at the heat map, man, I think they really blew it as far as the internet. The internet's not going fast enough. There we go. You see, Vasilik with tons of possession down here, but having a lot of success down the right side. Basically attacking the second string left back from Crystal Palace. I don't know why Van Aanholt continued to get minutes. But the good news is we don't have to worry about it anymore. The Netherlands are out of the tournament. The Czech Republic are organized. They're disciplined. They can counterattack in numbers. Patrick Schick's obviously in great form. Grabs another goal today. And Janko came in late. Dorita obviously was injured and didn't play. But maybe even have a little bit of fresh legs for the next round. But the Netherlands, adios. As we expected, De Boer's a bum. Now, how about Belgium versus Portugal? This is the game we got completely wrong. From a flow standpoint, essentially, both teams are a little too conservative out the gate. Portugal was able to dictate the pace of play. Renato Sanchez, I thought, was the boss in the midfield. Belgium gets their goal, but Kevin De Bruyne hurt very early on, or very late in the first half. Tried to come back out and couldn't play. Completely changed the flow of that game. Essentially, if De Bruyne stays on, I think Belgium pushes on for at least a second, maybe a third goal. Dries Mertens, you might as well throw a cone out there. The guy is no good. Portugal, a lot of these attempts came in the second half, 23-6, 7 set-piece attempts. They were dangerous on set pieces. So we got to look at that moving forward for Belgium. You think about it, Alderweireld, Vertonghen, Vermaelen today, these guys aren't great in the air. I guess of the 3, perhaps Alderweireld is the best, and he's not that great. We think about teams like the Czech Republic who have some size and others. And, of course, Italy in the next round who they'll face off. If Chiellini's back, perhaps we target him as well. But not a ton to love here as far as Belgium are concerned, Portugal are concerned. Ronaldo fairly isolated. Jota had his 1 chance in the box he put over the bar. Man, it was mostly Portugal on the front foot, but Belgium just said, fine, you go take the ball and do something with it, and they weren't able to. At the end, Portugal had every single creative player on their roster on the pitch, essentially. Still couldn't break through. So a fun but relatively eventful 1-0 victory for Belgium. So we hit our under on the Netherlands game, and then, of course, did not hit our both teams to score here for Belgium and Portugal. How about tomorrow's action? Croatia v. Spain. You'll notice one massive name missing from this list. Ivan Perisic has tested positive for COVID, likely out for the rest of the tournament, but certainly missing this game here. And we have our 4-3-3 matchup. It's something we haven't seen a ton of in this tournament. Certainly not these formations matching up against one another. And you look at this attack, and really without Perisic, where's the dynamism in this attack? Pekovic is mostly, a hold-up center forward. Rebic is a lunatic just running 3,000 miles an hour without any kind of direction. And Vlasic did come on, reward his manager with the goal last game, but is he really the piece that's going to unlock this Spain defense? Sergio Busquets, I think, adds an element of calmness and direction in the midfield. He's able to dictate to Koke and especially young Pedri where to be in this system. And I think Spain found something with Sarabia off this right wing up here. I see Morata's projected to start Olmo on the left. I think you got to find a spot for Moreno. And then how about Torres coming off the bench? You're probably getting the hint as far as where I'm leaning here, but let's just hammer home how important Perisic is to this team. Total attempts, 7. On target, 3, leading the team in both of those. If we go to distribution as well, you see crosses attempted. Versalco should come back in the lineup. And right there, Perisic as well. Goals, he's leading the team in goals. Chances created. He is that important to this team. And so for me, I do like Spain to win the match. Unfortunately, I'm not going to pay the minus 160 here. Under 2.25 is where I'm going. Obviously, half your bet on 2.5, half your bet on 2. Could easily be a 1-0, maybe 2-0 victory by Spain. Remember, Spain completely content just keeping the ball and defending with possession. So I'm going under 2.25 there. How about France versus Switzerland? Massive hole at left back here. Digne picked up an injury. Hernandez is also doubtful as well. We could be featuring a right-footed right back playing left back, although he does play some left back for Lyon in club play, from Dubois. Pogba, Kanté, and Rabiot seem to be settled in the midfield there, although when they did want to push forward a little bit, they did have Tolisso kind of coming off that right attacking side as well. Rabiot also could feature at left back as well, which would then bring Tolisso back into the midfield. Really strong 11 here, and we're seeing France kind of grow into this tournament, aren't we? Started off awfully slow against Germany to the point where I think they only had a couple shots on goal in general, generated less than 1 goal expected goals, and yet still get the victory 1-0. And then since dominated Hungary and then had the 2-2 draw with Portugal as well. So they're starting to find the attacking end. Benzema gets off the mark against Portugal with his 2 goals. Perhaps he gets on the good side of things here, but really what we're looking at more so is Switzerland, their opponents. We just saw the Czechs upset the big favorites in Netherlands with organizational discipline and tactical nuance. Can we see the same for Switzerland? And we do have recent examples of this. I wrote up in my article over on EliteFantasy.com these recent examples of games Switzerland have played with teams that are ranked around the same ELO ranking as France. Italy beat them 3-0. They tied Spain 1-1 and then lost to them 1-1. Belgium beats them 2-1, and then Germany they tied 3-3. That was the game that took place the earliest, most recent being Italy and that 3-0 win in group play. And I think that's the struggle that I'm having with this Swiss team is Mbolo can look great against Hungary, but what's he going to do against Hungary? What's he going to do against the defense of Varane, Kimpembe, and possibly Pavard off the right side here? Can him and Seferovic, who's still an old man, like he hasn't gotten any younger this tournament, really create in this area between the 2 center backs? And most importantly, the linchpin, the key, has been Xherdan Shaqiri. Do you really think he's going to get the better of N'Golo Kanté in a matchup like this? I don't think so. To the point where we could see Kanté man-mark him across the field and let Pogba and Rabiot create and just win their battles 2v2 against Freuler and Xhaka here as well. Zuber's been a revelation on this left side for the Swiss attack, but that also takes another creative option and pushes it further back to field in Ricardo Rodriguez. I'm not sure how I feel about that, but really, France, can they jump out on the front foot and grab their goals in Switzerland? Are they able to defend and get to the second half at 0-0, perhaps hit him on the counterattack? And can they find a way to free Shaqiri, perhaps moving out to the wing more? Maybe Mbabu stays back and Shaqiri presses out to the right side, maybe on Dubois if he starts. But how are they going to create? And so for me, I'm fine eating the chalk here on minus 385 France to advance. I'm just kidding. I'm not going to pad my stats with BS like that, like some people do. France should advance. We're not paying 3.5 or 3.85 units just to win one over there. How about France -1 at plus 113? I'm fine with that. Also, if we want to take under 2.25, I also think this is a low-scoring match as well. Those would be my two options there. So -104, plus 113, and then a plus 103 bet there. That's going to do it for today's show. We're back tomorrow with more action. Coming down to it here as we close out the round of 32. I am Duke for Elite Fantasy. If you haven't yet, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Thanks so much for listening to this point. See you tomorrow. Adios.